So I would start every day. I would set a timer for 25 minutes. It's called a Pomodoro session. And I would take my phone and I would throw it as far away from me as I possibly could get it, and would just focus on having nothing but a pen and paper. And I would just free write for 25 minutes. And that was usually, again, it's like the Fallon packet. 85% of that is just garbage, just flushing whatever I'd been thinking about the night before. But that in that like 15% ish, I could find something that was going to be imbued into whatever I was writing that day, and that would kind of be the framework. And then I would just, the next Pomodoro session would be on the laptop. But the first one was always 25 minutes of free writing. And I took that from a guy who posted about that on Twitter. It was a guy named Gavin Purcell. He was like, I've been starting every day with these 25-minute free writes. Like, I make myself write on just a pen and paper. And yeah, he was like very pleasantly surprised by how much good work he seemed to be getting out of it.
And so this is for Leo that you're doing 25 minutes, and then how long do you go on and do the actual sitting and typing, or does that come into it?
Oh yeah, so the first one is just pen and paper, and then the other 25-minute sessions are, I mean, dude, I would love to tell you I was doing like 8 to 10 a day, but it's really like you go when you can go. We have a 19-month-old son, so like he would nap and I would just wail on a laptop. It looked like animal drumming for like the 50 minutes I could hopefully get in before he would be up again. And yeah, I mean, if I could get like 4 or 5 of those sessions in a day, I would just be adding a little bit more to the machine, just constantly building it up and building it up and building it up. And then so like I pre-sold the book based on half of a writing sample. So like half the book was the writing sample, which is a very long writing sample. And then I got an editor, her name's Jackie Alberta. And like, dude, after you've just been like swimming in your own head for so long with writing a story, to have someone else where you can finally outsource some of those ideas and have them be like, this is good, this is good, this is good, this doesn't work, was just so vital. And it made me way more efficient, because you're no longer guessing. Now you have someone, like, you're no longer guessing, like, I think this makes sense to me. Like, I think this is a fun narrative. And to have someone who is professional at telling you, like, oh, this sucks, but this is good, is just, it just made me work so much more cleanly. Like, it was just way more efficient than kind of guessing. Yeah.
How often are you getting that feedback? Is that weekly, monthly?
Oh, I would probably send her a draft. I would send her punch-ups like every few weeks. I think she would tell you she was pleasantly surprised by how often I met deadline. I'm really patting myself on the back here, but I was definitely, I just revealed how surprised I was that I met deadline, because I was like, hey, here are the pages. And I don't know, like that, I guess I got so excited to meet the deadline because she would read them and tell me like, hey, this works, this doesn't work. I had my aunt who used to run an English department, a high school English department at Quincy Braintree High School, this public school outside Boston. And she read a few of the first initial drafts, and they were terrible. And she was so kind about it, but I could tell, I was like, oh, I can't have Aunt Mary read another draft. She'd read 2, and she was like, some of this, just, you really need to sit down and figure it out beforehand. And yeah, but man, when I finally got an editor, it really makes working so much more efficient.
So she's reading that first half, which is the writing sample you're going to go on to sell it on?
No, the first half was mostly my aunt was the person I would rely on to read the first half before I would submit it out. And then, I probably had her read 3 or 4 drafts. I wrote this thing over the course of like 8 years. I definitely had a couple friends read drafts. And I don't know. So there's a whole culture in LA of asking your friends to read things for you. And like, hey, will you read my pilot? Reading a pilot is like, it can be a pain, but it's like a few hours. Asking someone, will you read my 200-page sample of a middle grade book? They would be like, I don't have time. I don't know how to respond to this. Like, what do you? So yeah, you're swimming on your own for a long time, and then it's kind of the it's so great to have a teammate, just to have somebody who's like invested in the same thing.